The Penguins have acquired their top six winger. Rickard Rakell from the Ducks is coming to the Penguins in exchange for Dominic Simon, Zach Aston-Reese, a second-round pick, and prospect Kale Klang. They literally made that trade at the last possible minute you could make a trade, right? I thought it was over. Ron Hextall was going to pack it in. That's it. No depth trades. Just that Nathan Beaulieu one they made really early in the morning, which, by the way, I thought that trade for sure was going to mean Marcus Pettersson out or someone, maybe a John Marino, but turns out it's actually nothing. They trade a conditional seventh. I guess why not? More depth. But I would have been really disappointed if that's all the Penguins did, and it was really looking like it until about 3-something, boom, Rickard Rakell to Pitt, as Elliot Friedman tweeted. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I didn't think the Penguins were going to do it. I didn't think Ron Hextall was going to do it. I thought he was going to be happy with his team. He was going to come on the press conference, say we traded for depth on the blue line in Nathan Beaulieu and say, oh, we like our group, this and that. Every GM says that. If that did happen, I was going to be a little bit disappointed because although I do like a lot about the Penguins, I do think they needed that top six winger just to add more depth to the lineup. If they didn't do anything, I just feel like there's too much inconsistency in the bottom six to actually make a run. So, it sends the wrong message to everybody. And, you knew Brian Burke and Ron Hextall didn't want to give up too much. Zach Aston-Reese and Dominic Simon, I think, were just for the cap to work. So cap goes in, cap goes out. And the real value was the second-round pick in Kale Klang, the prospect. They don't touch their top prospect. They don't touch the first-round pick. They get rid of 2 fourth-line players. And, I'm being pretty generous to Dominic Simon, right? Normally, he should be out of the lineup. I really do like Zach Aston-Reese. He's really good defensively. Offensively, kind of dried up. He doesn't really score much. Would have I liked to keep Zach Aston-Reese? Why not? Am I mad that he's gone? Not really, if it means them bringing in a guy like Rickard Rakell. The Penguins have a bunch of goalie prospects. Losing a Kale Klang isn't the end of the world. They have Tristan Jarry, who's 26, in the net right now. And the biggest value going out is that second-round pick. And again, I'm fine with that. They didn't touch the first-round pick. I was okay with them giving up the first-round pick. They don't touch the first-round pick. I'm more than fine with giving up the second-round pick. There's not much time left. You can make an argument that this is the best and maybe only chance this year the Penguins have at doing something in the playoffs. The Penguins are having a really good season this year. Goaltending is great. Tristan Jarry is having a career year. Defense isn't terrible, right? Obviously has their flaws. First line is amazing. They needed that second line winger for Gino and that bottom six production. This is going to be a huge upgrade for Malkin on his wing. I would assume you bring Rust back to the Crosby line and you reunite that dominant line again with Gensel, Crosby, Rust. And there's so many ifs here that could be the difference maker between a first-round exit and, a deep playoff run. Number one, Rickard Rakell. How well does he fit in? If he fits in right away, that's a huge plus. My next one is Jason Zucker. What happens with this guy? For me, this is huge. If he comes back and is good, not even great, just good, because he was okay in the beginning of the year. He just hasn't lived up to what he should have been, but he's never bad when he's in the lineup. I want to, correct that because a lot of people think he's a liability. He's not. He's just not worth what they gave up and what his contract is. But if he comes in, all that doesn't matter right now. It's, now to the end of the season and the playoffs. Contracts and what they gave up for him doesn't matter. He's here now. When he does return from his injury, which Jason Zucker are we getting? Because if he comes back and he provides that secondary scoring and clicks with Gino and Rickard Rakell, all of a sudden your top six is looking filthy. And another big if is Kasperi Kapanen. If he plays like he has played in his last 2 games, he had one of his better games versus the Blues and finally scored versus the Coyotes. If that just sparked him now, and all you need is a goal, really. He gets that goal now, he's confident, because that goalless streak, I'm convinced he was cursed, man. That was so unlucky. He was playing bad, but he was also so unlucky. If you have a Kasperi Kapanen clicking in your bottom six, along with a Teddy Bluger in there, Jeff Carter's down there, right? The bottom six all of a sudden looks so much better. Your top six looks filthy. I want to say everyone wins, because you could tell the management didn't want to do what Jim Rutherford has been doing in giving up a bunch to get a bunch of question marks. And that's why I thought they weren't going to do anything at all. But they had to do something. So everyone wins, right? They give up not as much as a Jim Rutherford would. First round is still here. Sam Poulin, the top prospect, still here. But he still gives up something, which is the second round pick, which is the most valuable asset going the other way. And, you're getting back a guy who can, if he clicks with your team, could be a huge difference maker. And Rakell has a ton of talent, right? He's been a 30-goal scorer in this league. Almost average near point per game seasons, back in his prime, I guess you could say. I mean, he's still in his prime, but he's kind of dried up over the last couple of years. I think this is one of those change of sceneries that really helps out Rickard Rakell because he's not an old guy, right? He's not falling off. He's 28 years old, right in his prime still. So definitely this change and playing with higher end talent in Sid and Gino, I think that should be more than enough to spark him and, kind of turn his career around a bit. I'm not saying he's playing bad, but, to go back to what he used to be a couple of years ago. And again, I think coming here can really change him. He adds so much to the forward core right now. The top six has so much more high end talent with Rakell in it. And now all of a sudden, a guy like Rodriguez and Kapanen go down. Strengthens up the bottom six, and most importantly, gives you flexibility if you need it somewhere down the line. Rakell doesn't need to play on the second line, right? You can move him around, play him with Sid, throw him on the third line, just, so many options. And that's all you want as a head coach, being Mike Sullivan. The more options he has, the better it is for the team. And as for losing Czar and Simon, I think the Penguins will be fine there. Even if injuries come, they've shown that pretty much anybody can go in and play well. Pustinen has been great in his one game that he played. Radim Zohorna, Brian Boyle too, who should be the 13th forward when everyone's healthy, right? Like, these guys can easily come in when there is injuries and do the same job, if not better, which allows the Penguins to move on from a couple fourth liners. There's a very good chance that this same team won't be back here next year. They'll be a year older, right? Everything can just fall off next year. You never know, right? Especially with your core being this old. So you got to take advantage of the moment. Penguins are playing great hockey right now. They upgraded. And as a fan, I could not be more excited entering the final stretch and playoffs. I'd love to see what you guys think about this. I'm so excited that this happened. I'm sure everyone is. This should be a unanimous feeling. We all love the trade. But if you don't, I'd love to see why in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching. Let's hope Rakell tears it up with the Penguins, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.